Broadcasting across the U.S. and around the world. Good morning, radio friends. Happy New Year and welcome to 2026 and another edition of the Retro Oldies Brunch, the show that takes a nostalgic look back at music history. I'm your host, Vern Sherd, and I'll be your guide on our musical time machine as this month's showcase takes us back to the 70s as we visit the year that was 1970. Our showcase will feature music and anecdotes about the songs and artists and include news and entertainment briefs. We'll also have our 3-of-a-kind music trivia segment, a forgotten 1970 hit from our radio vault, and a long-distance dedication from one of our listeners. On this month's showcase, we'll feature a teenager who led a jazz rock band who was often mistaken for Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and some psychedelic soul from Motown royalty. We'll begin our showcase with a one-hit wonder that was a million seller for a Pittsburgh band. The song deals with a man who tries to seduce women through conversational rapping, using various one-liners and untruthful flirtations. This is The Rapper by the Jaggerz. Now we're up to the jazz rock band who is often mistaken for Blood, Sweat, and Tears because of their distinctive brass horn riffs. The band's only top 40 hit was written by its teenage vocalist, Jim Peterick, as a response to how a girl he had a crush on used him as a means of transport to get her to modeling school each week. In the late 70s, Peterick would go on to create the band who would go on to great success in the 80s, namely Survivor. Peaking at number 2, this is Ides of March and Vehicle. Welcome back to the Retro Oldies Brunch. I'm Vern Sherd, and now it's time for a look back at the year that was 1970. The Kent State Massacre occurs when the Ohio National Guard shoots and kills 4 unarmed college students protesting the Vietnam War. Houston, we've had a problem. The astronauts from the failed Apollo 13 lunar mission are rescued after several oxygen tanks explode. The world's first jumbo jet, the 747, makes its first commercial passenger trip by traveling to London. And soul singer Eddie Holman peaks at number 2 with a million seller that features his signature falsetto voice. This is Hey There, Lonely Girl. Now we're up to one of 3 prominent British bands of which members splintered off in 1973 to form the recently inducted Rock and Roll Hall of Fame supergroup Bad Company. Guitarist Mick Ralphs came over from the glam rock band Mott the Hoople, and bassist Boz Burrell came over from King Crimson. The other 2 members, drummer Simon Kirke and lead singer Paul Rodgers, came over from this British band who had their only top 40 hit in the US in 1970 with a song that has gone on to become a favorite on classic rock stations. Peaking at number 4, this is All Right Now by Free. And now it's time for our long distance dedication. We got a submission from Lydia from California. My name is Lydia. I live in Linwood, California, and I'm submitting my story for Vern's dedication feature. My story begins back when I started high school as an awkward teen. I was on the shy side, wore braces, and often suffered from breakouts, not the kind of thing a young teenage girl wants to experience. During biology class, I was partnered up with an outgoing free spirit named Vanessa. What made Vanessa so unique is that she didn't care what others thought of her. She just embraced her quirkiness. We began to sit together during lunch and she told me the importance of just being yourself, that everyone had something to offer. Sometimes you just had to dig for it. Vanessa got me out of my shell when we'd hang out at her house on weekends. She noticed that I liked to draw, and she used that creative side of me when we'd have fun fashion shows in her bedroom using thrift shop and vintage clothes. Vanessa gave me tips on how to clear out my breakouts, and eventually my appearance improved. Through high school, when other socially awkward students saw how much fun Vanessa and I had together, they would ask to join us, and we all became friends, adopting Vanessa's advice not to care what others thought. When senior prom came, we all went together as a friendship group so no one was left behind. The great thing about the group is that we all remained friends and stayed in touch after graduation, throughout college, and as we began our careers. To this day, every Thanksgiving, Vanessa continues to host Friendsgiving for our group as most of us live throughout California away from our families. Vern, there is a 70s song that describes the ordeals many awkward teens go through, and I wanted to dedicate it to Vanessa, our friendship group, and anyone else out there who feels like they just don't measure up. I would like you to please play At 17 by Janis Ian. My hope is that everyone can get through this and have a friend like Vanessa who offers unconditional friendship and sees the value beneath the surface. Sincerely, Lydia. Lydia, thank you so much for sharing your story. Being a teenager is tough enough, but having a true friend like Vanessa by your side can definitely make things better for you. Lydia, as promised, here is your long-distance dedication. Welcome back to the Retro Oldies Brunch. I'm Vern Sherd, and now it's time for another look back at the year that was 1970. The top grossing movies are Love Story and Airport. Marcus Welby MD and The Flip Wilson Show were the top TV shows. Rock and roll legends Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin both die at age 27. And number one this week in 1970 is a song that was written for the film Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Here is Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head by B.J. Thomas. That was Close to You, and that concludes this month's Retro Oldies Brunch, the year that was 1970. If you haven't already done so, be sure to connect with DJ Greyhound Radio on LinkedIn for our monthly schedule, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for showcase clips. Be sure to join us next month for another showcase of the year that was. Until next time, radio friends, this is Vern Sherd saying, don't be afraid to aim high with your goals. Even if you come up short, you'll still end up at a better place. You're listening to DJ Greyhound Radio. Playing the hits of the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.